Give it up, Young Dolph in the building.
A lot of people, they have vision, they have dreams and shit, but they don't put up no percentage or no effort trying to make that shit come to life.
Bro, for the last 6 months, I've been having a $22 million contract debating on should I do the deal or not. Fuck the 22 million.
What if I told you that the streets of Memphis were not just buzzing, but straight up exploding with a war so savage it makes Game of Thrones look like a kid's playdate? Yeah, I'm talking bullets, betrayals, and billion-dollar egos clashing over power, pride, and who really runs the city. You've heard of Young Dolph, right? The independent king who built an empire without anyone holding his hand. Well, what happens when you piss off the wrong people in Memphis, people with money, muscle, and a whole lot of grudges? Chaos. Absolute chaos. From assassination plots to social media stunts that read like a gangster soap opera. This isn't just rap beef, it's a blueprint for survival, revenge, and street politics on steroids. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, because today we're peeling back the curtain on one of the deadliest rivalries in hip-hop history. Who plotted, who survived, who got played, and who's still lurking in the shadows, waiting for the next move. By the end of this video, you're going to question everything you thought you knew about Memphis, its kings, and the streets they claim to rule. If you thought Memphis was all about music and good barbecue, think again, because behind the lights and the hits there has been a war raging for years. A war so intense that it makes any Hollywood gangster movie look like child's play.
One thing about life is like people can try to and be fake and go around it like, oh, you change, like ain't no changing you. You can be a better you can be the best you.
At the center of this chaos are two names that command respect, fear, and attention at the same time. Yo Gotti's CMG empire and the Paper Route clique, led by Young Dolph, a man who didn't just rap, he built a kingdom on his own terms. And let's be clear, this was not your average rap beef. We are talking assassination plots, street politics, millions of dollars, and egos clashing in a city where loyalty is currency and disrespect can get you killed. Young Dolph was a symbol of independence, a man who invested his own money, built his empire from scratch, and refused to bow down to anyone, even if that anyone was a Memphis legend like Yo Gotti. That refusal did not just bruise egos, it ignited a war that simmered quietly but fiercely, with subliminal shots in songs, cryptic social media posts, and subtle digs in interviews that only the people in the know could decode. Every move Dolph made, every independent milestone he achieved, was not celebrated by CMG as—
Some people say Gotti wanted to sign Dolph and Dolph didn't want to sign.
Right.
Some people say, well, both of them had crews that were into some street shit or whatever.
a success, but seen as a provocation, a direct statement that he did not need them and that he had built something they could not control. To the streets, this was more than music. It was a challenge, a declaration, and every challenge has consequences. According to sources close to the scene who asked to remain anonymous, there were weeks of careful surveillance, phone calls, and coordination among people with the power and willingness to carry out deadly plans. Every day Dolph's routines were being tracked, his favorite spots logged, and his public appearances monitored, all while he continued to release music that doubled as messages to his rivals and fans alike, proving not only his talent but his untouchable confidence. It was audacity at a level that most would consider madness, turning even assassination attempts into marketing tools. With album releases reflecting defiance and strength rather than fear, the psychological warfare extended beyond music because there were videos and public stunts that humiliated rival families and mocked their status, making it clear that this was personal, not business. In the streets of Memphis, this kind of provocation could not go on.
Like I could have went over there and got with Gotti and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up, but at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it.
Go unanswered, and every insider knew it. Money was reportedly offered to the right hands for the execution of plans so precise that failure was not an option. And whispers in the underground described an inevitable confrontation, where survival was a gamble and pride was the ultimate stake. Fans cheered every new release, enemies plotted in silence, and the city watched, waiting for the next—
So it wouldn't have made sense for me.
It's just business.
You see what I'm saying? And man, it's like, that's Memphis, bro. That town is too small.
spark that would ignite a firestorm. Every phone call, every lyric, every public appearance became a piece of the puzzle, feeding the tension that hung thick in the air. a tension that slowly but methodically prepared the stage for the inevitable confrontation. A setup so meticulous that everyone knew it was only a matter of time before the streets demanded answers and the feud reached its breaking point. The tension that had been building for years finally erupted into chaos. And when it did, it shocked everyone who thought Memphis was untouchable. A city that had seen its share of street wars but never on this level of planning and audacity. Young Dolph continued to operate with the same confidence and bravado that had made him a legend. But the streets were closing in, and his independence had made him a target. Surveillance reports leaked from insiders suggested that his every move was being watched, that people were tracking his routines, his favorite hangouts, and even the times he visited local business.
If you pay attention, it always been a artist at the city saying, I'm the king of Memphis, I'm the king of Memphis.
Businesses and gave back to the community. It was a network of eyes and ears working quietly in the shadows, gathering intel with military precision. According to multiple anonymous sources, there were weeks of planning involving stolen vehicles, high-powered firearms, and people recruited specifically for one purpose: to take out young Dolph and strike fear into the paper route empire. And yet, Dolph was untouchable in spirit, performing in his hometown, dropping albums, and engaging with fans as if the threat did not exist. A king walking boldly in the lion's den. The audacity only fueled the anger of his enemies, and the psychological warfare escalated as videos surfaced mocking rival families and creating public humiliation, turning personal vendettas into social media spectacles. Fans celebrated his resilience, but the streets knew that this kind of provocation carried consequences. And those consequences were calculated to be lethal. On November 17th, the day that would become infamous, young Dolph arrived at a bakery he frequently visited. His presence completely monitored by people who had been tracking him for weeks. The stolen car with its identifiable scratch pulled up. Two masked men.
You ain't gotta not do the deal, but you ain't gotta not do it right now either. So you trying to tell me, if I don't do the deal right now, I can't never come back and do a deal. No.
Men exited, and in an instant, the quiet tension of years exploded into violence. The shooters were armed and ready, trained to ensure their mission was completed without question. And as they fired, it became clear this was no robbery, no random act of violence, but an execution meticulously carried out. Dolph was hit multiple times, his body a testament to the danger he had always known was stalking him. The chaos inside the bakery was indescribable, screams mixing with the sounds of gunfire, and his brother returned fire in a desperate act of protection, managing to hit one of the shooters. But it was too late to save the man who had survived countless attacks before, only to fall at the hands of a calculated ambush. The shooters fled in the stolen vehicle, abandoning it in a location that connected back to an influential street figure who had been acting as a middleman, proving that this hit was organized, funded, and executed with intent from people far beyond the street level. The city erupted in shock and grief, social media exploded, fans gathered outside in tribute, and the police scrambled to piece together the plot that had been years in the making. Arrests followed as evidence, including surveillance footage, phone records, and witness testimony, revealed a network of coordination and betrayal, a chilling blueprint for violence orchestrated from the top down.
Back in the day, in the 3-6 era and the Yo Gotti era, that didn't make it and didn't really just pop off big, they could have made it and supposed to made it. But Memphis got that I mentality. It always been the king of Memphis. I'm the king, I'm the king, I'm the king.
The revelation that the murder had been planned with precise instructions, promised payouts, and multiple people involved, from the shooters to the intermediaries, showed the scale of the feud. And the betrayal among those involved only deepened the shock as one by one, the plotters were caught or turned witnesses, unraveling the layers of conspiracy that had led to one of the deadliest days in Memphis rap history. So now that you've seen the full picture, ask yourself, how does a city like Memphis survive when the streets, the music, and the money all collide in a deadly storm? How many more young Dolphs have to rise and fall before anyone learns that independence comes with a price, and loyalty is a weapon sharper than any gun? Think about the empire he built, the fans he touched, the lives he changed, only to have it all threatened by jealousy, greed, and calculated violence. And yet, the story doesn't end with one tragedy. Because the ripples are still spreading, people are still talking, people are still watching, and the city is still waiting for answers. What does it say about the culture when the line between music and murder is blurred, when respect is demanded at gunpoint, and when a feud can take years to unfold, yet explode in seconds? We want to know what you think. Could this have been prevented? Was it pride, principle, or plain defiance that sealed the fate of Memphis's biggest names? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you want more behind the scenes truths. And don't forget to subscribe because the story isn't over, and we're just getting started exposing the dark, shocking, and untold realities that the mainstream won't touch.